Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship, 111 here. Now we know in Forza Horizon 4 it has the largest car list out of the entire Horizon collection. Playground Games have done an excellent job in bringing in many cars that us as players would love to drive. However, last week we looked through at the car list in Forza Horizon 3 and noticed that Playground Games didn't bring in every car from its predecessor, which is quite surprising as I would have imagined that they would have just brought across the old car list with more additions. Well, this raises the question, how many cars have been omitted from yet another Horizon game, Forza Horizon 2? Both games run on the same engine, so technically there should be no issues importing any of these missing cars from Horizon 2 into the current game if they wanted to in the future. So, for the cars to qualify on this list, the cars must be last seen in Forza Horizon 2, and even if they have appeared after Horizon 2 in the Motorsport series, that will not count as we are purely focusing on the Horizon series. DLCs such as Fast and the Furious or special limited Forza cars will be excluded as well, as we are strictly looking at proper road-going vehicles. Starting off with number 1, the Abarth Punto SuperSport. Appearing only in Forza Horizon 2, this is how Fiat has rebranded their cars into the European hot hatch market, producing a sporty and agile look. It was Abarth's job, which is Fiat's performance division, to back it all up with its performance. Sporting a nice turbocharger for its 1.4 litre 4-cylinder engine, it's the perfect recipe for a fun, sporty ride around twisty roads. Number 2, the Alfa Romeo Giulietta Quadrifoglio Verde. Yet another hot hatch as we go down the list, this time being produced by Alfa Romeo, another Italian car manufacturer. I'm surprised this hasn't made it past Forza Horizon 2. This is a hot hatch that can easily rival Volkswagen's Golf, and with 230 brake horsepower from a turbocharged 1.7 litre 4-cylinder engine, it would have been a good addition to the twisty roads around the United Kingdom. Number 3, the 2013 Audi S4. I must say this one has been a fan favourite for it to return, but it's only ever made its appearance in 2 Forza games ever, Horizon 2 of course, and Motorsport 5, and that is it. It seems someone at Playground Games just don't seem to like any of the S4s, as there hasn't been any for us players to drive, only as a traffic car in Forza Horizon 4. This is a nice big saloon with lots of potential as it's all-wheel drive and possesses 329 brake horsepower, certainly enough to keep a driver's smile from ear to ear. Number 4, the BMW 850 CSI. Speaking of another fan favourite, this is perhaps one of the most requested cars that we want back in Forza Horizon 4, as this is such an absolute beauty with a great engine. This was BMW's most powerful production car at one time, making 371 brake horsepower, which for today's standards isn't much, but considering it was produced by a 5.6 litre naturally aspirated V12, that is what makes this Grand Tourer unique. Performance with luxury never fails. Number 5, the 2012 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. One thing I don't like when Playground Games brings in a new model of the same car, not all of the time, but sometimes they will erase the older version from the car list and it won't make another appearance again, and that is the case with the 2012 Camaro ZL1. I know in Horizon 3 and 4 we have the newer ZL1, which is faster, looks sleeker, but there was no reason to remove the older model. To me, it looks just as nice, and if we can have 4 Mitsubishi Evos and 6 different Subaru WRX STIs, why couldn't they keep this? Number 6, the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. I remember when this car first came out as a DLC in Forza Motorsport 5, I was like, wow, finally, a new Corvette along with the iconic Stingray badge on it. It was one of my favourite cars to drive, but since Horizon 2, we haven't seen it in any Forza games since. One reason I believe is because we do have more powerful Corvette C7s in the game now, which again, like the Camaro, should really still stay because every car has unique qualities and this Stingray certainly does too. Number 7, the Dodge Challenger SRT8 392. Here's a real American muscle car designed for pure straight speed and exhilarating acceleration. This at the time was the fastest Challenger in production, featuring a pistol grip shifter. This was eventually replaced by the Challenger Hellcat, which of course made much more power than this, but it seems as though this car has been forgotten in the Horizon series as well. Number 8, the Dodge Charger SRT8. Another Dodge subsequently replaced due to the newer and more powerful model, but certainly will be missed, producing around 470 brake horsepower similar to the Challenger mentioned before. This was the more affordable version than the Hellcat we see these days, as the car is now older, and because it has been removed, some of us can't live our real life car fantasy in game. Number 9, the 2015 Ford Mustang GT. Okay, so this is the first series of the 6th generation Ford Mustang. It holds a respectable 420 brake horsepower from a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8. However, in Horizon 4, we have the same 6th generation Mustang, except it's the 2018 version, which actually has only been in Horizon 4. Now the newer Mustang still holds the same shape, except with 2 differences. The power, which has 40 more horses and has a significant facelift. To me, I always love to see different models of the same car in the game. Do you? Number 10, the 1986 Honda Civic Si. Here is another fan favorite that has been the closest Civic non-Type R hatch we have craved in the current generation. Sure, it may not be the EF or EG or even the EK SIR Civics, but this is good enough. It still possesses the same front-wheel drive layout, a light chassis, great for cornering, and put in a K20 engine in it and this thing will fly. But honestly, Playground Games, any possibilities of bringing all the Civic hatches back that's not the Type Rs? Number 11, the 1990 Mazda MX5 Miata. The first ever Mazda MX5 Miata. What a cult following this car has had in the past decade. But this particular one is different to the one we see in Horizon 4, as that one is a 94 model with an upgraded engine producing more power. The 1990 Miata holds a smaller 1.6 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, only producing 116 brake horsepower. Granted, power is not the main factor for this car, but I'm surprised Playground Games did have the very first Miata in the game at one time. Number 12, the Mazda MX5 Super20. Here's a cool MX5 that was introduced as the 20th anniversary for the MX5. Based on the NC model, this concept was to incorporate the first generation of Miata styling onto the current car and also beef up all of the handling components, including a nice supercharger to the 2-litre engine, giving a total of 220 brake horsepower. That's pretty powerful for a small roadster. Number 13, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. Perhaps the most requested car that players want back in Horizon 4 is this supercar right here. Built as a joint production between Mercedes and McLaren, it's shocking to think that this car was built in 2005. Even for today's standards with succeeding generation models, it still looks very modern. It has a top speed of over 200 miles per hour. It has a big engine at the front, a 5.4 litre twin screw supercharged V8 to be exact, pumping 617 brake horsepower, which even nearly 15 years later is still very impressive. My goodness, do I miss this car. Number 14, the Nissan IDX Nismo. One of the few concept cars to make it into the Horizon series, and it's a very good one as well. With this Nissan concept taking many design cues from the Datsun 510, we believe this is to be the next generation of that car. Of course, with Nismo plastered all over this concept car, we don't really know what will happen to this concept in the foreseeable future. Number 15, the Nissan Juke Nismo RS. Nissan's crossover SUV only ever made it in Horizon 2, which is such a shame because I believe in both Horizon 3 and 4 would have been a great addition to the SUV car list. Given that this is a Nismo, Nissan's tuning department gave the Juke a nice small dress up, making it look sportier. However, performance upgrades were also made to the chassis and engine, giving it more power and the sporty ride it deserves. Number 16, the Plymouth GTX 426 HEMI. A true American muscle in every sense. Now, honestly, I know nothing about these vehicles, so if you guys can help me out, please write it down in the comment section below. Let me know what this car was replaced with in Forza Horizon 4, but all I know is that it's very powerful, given that it was made in the 1970s. It produces 425 brake horsepower from a 7-litre naturally aspirated V8. I could imagine it is very scary to drive, and could that be why it's not in Horizon anymore? Because no one can tame it. Number 17, the Renault Sport Clio V6. Such an iconic car that should be in every Horizon game. It's a hot hatch with a 3-litre naturally aspirated V6, making 251 brake horsepower. I mean, what more do you want? And what makes it better is that it's rear-wheel drive as well. Okay, sure, there are still many flaws with this car in reality, but we can't experience them in game. I was genuinely surprised when I was looking through the Horizon 2 car list, and I completely forgot about the Clio V6. It's certainly one of Renault's coolest cars ever made. Number 18 to 20, all three RUFS. So we had the RT12S, CTR2, and the CTR Yellowbird. Now, unfortunately, I won't be going into detail about each car as it will take too long, but did you know that RUF is actually a proper car manufacturer like Porsche, Mercedes, and Audi in Germany? Even though they take many Porsche's parts to build their cars, they are not a modifying company, hence why they were in so many video games back when Porsche had an exclusive license with EA. It's bittersweet because now we have a large collection of Porsches, but there's still a part of me that misses RUF too. Number 21, the Tesla Model S. I think the Tesla Model S throughout the different Forza games aesthetically look identical. I feel all they have done is change the name, like say with ludicrous mode, and just upgraded the performance accordingly. Not much for me to really talk about here, but it would still be nice to have at least one Tesla back in Horizon 4. Number 22, the Toyota 2000 GT. I know, once again, it's Toyota. I'm not going to go through the licensing stuff as I'm sure many of us are well aware of the situation by now, but the 2000 GT is legendary in a sense that it was the car that put Toyota on the map. It had styling cues similar to the Jaguar but with reliability. It was a true legend. But even though Toyota's no longer in Horizon 4, it didn't even appear in Horizon 3 where Toyota was still present. Such a missed opportunity, and I will certainly miss this car in Horizon games. And lastly, the Volkswagen Rabbit GTI and the Scirocco 16 valve. Certainly two very iconic cars to be produced, but given that they are kind of lost in the shuffle with other hot hatches and fastbacks from VW themselves, I'm not sure if we will ever see them return. So there we have it, guys, all 24 cars that are missing since Forza Horizon 2. Let me know if I have missed out on any other cars. I'm pretty sure this is all of them, excluding the Fast and the Furious DLC and also some of the Forza bonus cars. Anyways, if you guys did find this video helpful and did find it enjoyable, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button. That would really help me out. And also, if you would like to see more Forza Horizon content right here on this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.